Hi, I'm Debbie.
And I'm Jan.
Welcome to the Villages 365.
And today we're talking about your questions.
Yep, going to answer some questions that you guys had. And we'll start off with our video from exciting new things happening all over the Villages. Rose Esquibel said, I heard that Target is in the near future down on the south end. Is that true? At the time, and at the time, I think I responded, we haven't heard that yet.
And now there is a new one coming down to Trailwinds Shopping Center right next to Lowe's.
Yes, so that's on 466A.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure the people down south are very excited about it.
But if you're not familiar with the Trailwinds area, it's kind of a little pocket that was sold to people other than the Villages, and so it is not golf cart accessible.
No.
So you do have to drive your car there.
Or run across the road, which you probably won't make it.
Yeah, that's a pretty busy road. So
It's very busy.
But yes, so it is true now.
Yep. Not that funny though that she had that premonition that Target was coming.
She said she had heard it on another channel. And so we try to honestly, everybody can do their own thing. We try to do it after we know it's confirmed. We try not to spread rumors. There's enough rumors about the Villages as it is. We try not to contribute.
Ralph Schultz on the Skyfire clip that we did. Is that a UFO? Similar sightings elsewhere. And that was a rocket launch that you caught one evening. Was it one evening?
I think that one was.
One morning.
Yeah. I think that one was at like 6 o'clock at night or something.
So it's just another rocket launch, which we talk about in some of the video that we do about bizarre things. So, yeah.
Just another day in the Villages.
Very, very common because we live pretty close to Rocket Man. So.
Yep. So, in the February Your Questions answered, Joan Clegg said, what areas have outdoor exercise equipment? So, Joan, you can pretty much find it at any rec center at this point. They've started adding it even to the rec centers that didn't have it previously. I just read in the paper they added it to 2 more, and they're definitely encouraging that. So all you need to do exercise out on that outdoor equipment is have your ID with you just in case. I would imagine that the rec centers will be checking because it is all outdoor stuff, but they've got circuit training equipment out there, and so you can help yourself at almost every rec center now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. And that's the same equipment that we covered on Laurel Manor?
Like Laurel Manor had it. We also did it down at Eisenhower. We did it.
Sawgrass. Paradise Park has it.
Yep.
And that's not by a rec center, actually.
It's just,
they have they put a walking path through the trees, so if it's hot, it's a good place to go because it's shaded. Yeah.
So pretty much any rec center. You can always check the rec news, actually, and that will tell you exactly what they have available at each and every rec center. And the rec news comes, if you get the paper, the Daily Sun, comes every Thursday. But if you don't get it, you can get it online at districtgov.org. And they have it online there. So there's plenty of places to check to see where you can find it. But almost all the rec centers have it now.
Yes. And they're pretty cool. We've done a few of those. Not really well, but we did it. The next one, under the February questions asked and answered, from Kate C. I know you can use SunPass for tolls, and can you use EasyPass? And I think there's several passes now that you can use all up and down the East Coast. So, yes. That's. And then you can also get online, and I think there's 3 or 4 of them that they mention that you can use. But, yeah, it's pretty nice now because we can travel upwards and not have to stop at those booths.
Yeah, or send them checks as they no.
Now it's too far, I think.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
They only take coins, and there's never anybody at the booth, so you have to make sure you have coins with you. So this is an easier way.
Much easier. Sorry about the landscaping, but that's also part of living in the Villages. There's always landscaping going on. So on the same video, Jill asked, did you look at houses in other retirement communities before choosing the Villages? And so for me, I can tell you, no, we did not. My history was that my father lived here. But to be fair, when he was moving down here, and it was the mid-90s, okay, so it's been a while, but the Villages was not nearly as big as it is now. And he saw on the Golf Channel this place called the Villages. And it was this big retirement community, golf cart accessible, everything was great, blah, blah, blah. So he ordered the video. Okay, that's how long ago it was. You got a video, a little VHS. So he pops it in for me and he shows it and he says, Deb, what do you think about this place? I said, I think it looks nice, but Like, so it looks like they own all the restaurants, all the like barbers, the haircutting places, the banks, and I was like, yeah, they're going to steal all your money. It's a place that old people go and they're going to lose all their money. And so I was very concerned for him. So he came down and actually he bought in Del Webb, and he lived for a year in Spruce Creek. And once he was down here, and he did say, shoot, I should have just rented instead of buying. But he said, I went over there, and in hindsight, it makes sense because it's a place of retirees. So nobody here wants to go work at the bars, restaurants, blah, 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 blah. So many of the Morse family at the time were working, waiting tables and cutting hair and all of that. And so it was very interesting. And so once he was down here and kind of was able to get the lay of the land, he kind of had a comfort level. But anyway, so that story, side note. But so since my dad bought here and we had been down here, he had told me, this might be a good investment for you. So we bought our home here as an investment in 2001. And then when my husband retired in 2015, we decided to come down, rehab it, see if we liked it. And so this is the only place that we had looked.
Right. Same for us. We did not look anywhere else. We came, we visited, we bought. So we had some friends here, our side-laws, and we came once a long time ago, like even before we bought, just to visit overnight. We were in Orlando for a conference, and we thought it was pretty cool. It was, I think the only place we went to was, they lived over not far from Orange Blossom Hills Country Club. And then we came in 06 to visit, because again, we were scouting something out for a conference in Orlando. And we were looking in the paper that morning, drinking coffee, and then we bought the place a few hours later and hopped on a plane and then looked at each other and said, what the heck? But we don't have any regrets, so.
We call it drinking the Kool-Aid. So many people, and we both know so many people that come down, and when we talk to just people in general and say, so what happened? Oh, we came down and visited some friends and went and looked at houses and we bought, and we've been here ever since. So it's not unusual for people to do that here.
Right. And now we kind of recommend people that ask us, you might want to rent because you might not like the area you buy in, and you would wish, oh man, I wish I would have looked over there or whatever. So
because the Villages itself has gotten so big. It's
huge. Is it my turn?
Yep.
Let's see. From Kent Loomer, can non-residents from the local area make a tea time to play the Villages courses? Wondering if they take tea time opportunities from residents. You can get a tea time in the Villages, but you have to call the morning of and get an unused. And you have to have a village ID in order to make
a tea time in advance. Yeah.
Either by the phone system that I love, or when you're on villages.net.
And by love, that's sarcasm.
Yeah. Then you can make a tea time that way. But yeah, I think it didn't used to be that you could do this, but I think it's kind of smart of them. They might as well fill up the tea time.
Sure.
And so if nobody's going to play that day, I think it's fine for.
Yeah, and I would say most residents do make their tea times ahead of time.
Yeah.
So I don't really think it's causing any villagers to not get a tea time. It's probably a rare day that you're sitting around the house and then you go, you want to go golf? And and if that happens, it does.
Right,
we've done that too, but it just more often than not, I would say most people make their tea times ahead of time.
Yeah. So it's really not taken away from them. And it's kind of nice that if somebody outside the Villages can come and experience the
courses. Stephen Hewson asked, what are your opinions on the medical facilities, hospitals and clinics, and the availability for both appointments and emergencies? So right now that's a pretty hot topic here. I will tell you that I've had a couple experiences with the hospitals, myself, my family, and if it's an emergency type situation, it seems that they were pretty good. From what I understand, if you go in with a broken arm, you might sit there for a long, long time. So that's a downside. The facilities themselves have always been very clean, very nice and everything. What has been happening is our hospital now is owned by UF. They also own one in Leesburg, and then the mama ship is in Gainesville. And so they're trying to make some changes. There's a big write-up in the paper. One of the people that they hired, whatever her director, whatever her title is, she came from a 5-star hospital, and so they're trying to do things. the biggest thing is, and I hate even talking about COVID as an excuse or whatever, but it does seem that when that hit, I think everybody across the US lost a lot of medical staff. I think that people got burned out and they lost staff. And so the facilities themselves, I think, are pretty good. I think that the problem is keeping the people, you know, and so that seems to be an issue. I will say for my own doctor, my own personal experience with my own, I have 2 doctors that I go to once a year, and both of them, the one that is through the Villages Health, they ask you to make an appointment a year ahead of time. So if I go to the doctor today, I walk out of there and then they say, we'll see you next year on, you know, whatever the date they, you know, they try to get it so your insurance covers it obviously 1 year after and all that stuff. And so hopefully something a day or time that works. As far as my other doctor, actually, I can call him and make an appointment. They're not in the Villages. They're in Leesburg. Well, he does have an office here, but he's not part of the Villages Health. And I've had no problem making an appointment. We have both had, specialty issues. We've had a heart thing. We have big hearts that every once in a while need to be tweaked. But anyway, so
I've been known to be called I didn't have a heart. They were surprised.
So they were looking to see, no. But anyway, but the cardiologists and things down here, the specialists like that are very popular. I mean, it's kind of scary because if you're having a heart problem where you're reaching out to a cardiologist, it's probably because you're having a problem.
Right.
And the wait was about 4 months. And I experienced the same thing when I called for myself.
Yeah, because I mean, when I went up to the Ocala, that was actually Bellevue, the emergency there. When you tell them you're having chest pains, they get you right in.
Right in.
And then they run all those tests, and they said at that time that I don't think it's your heart, but you know, then and you're right. You try to get into one, and the same with the endoscopy. I couldn't get in one for 4 months, and so my daughter works at a surgical center in St. Louis, and we were going to go visit anyway. She got me in 3 days later. So,
yeah,
but she had some pull.
And I will say too, Orlando's not that far. If you're having an emergency, obviously you don't want your spouse or whoever's taking care of you have to go back and forth that frequently, or that far. But Ocala's got medical centers up there, hospitals that I've heard are very good. The one in Bellevue I've heard is very good. Orlando's there. If you needed to go to Gainesville, I mean, they've got Shands up there. That's a big teaching hospital. That's, it's big. So there's places to go, but I'm not sure that anybody is perfect right now on healthcare, only because they say that the whole U.S. is short-staffed in the medical arena. So they're trying to do what they can.
My daughter's a CRNA, and there's a bunch of people leaving their facility because another facility is offering them a big bonus and all this stuff. And when she got a raise, not to leave. So, you know, so there your healthcare is going up. You know, I mean, it's what it is right now.
Yeah.
Let's see. KM, would you please recommend smaller cities outside the villages that you like to visit? There's a lot of them around here, and everything is, there's so many lakes. A lot of these small towns are on a lake. There's Howey in the Hills. There's the Howey Mansion and Lake Harris, which I think is the bigger lake around this area. Mount Dora, that has annual festivals and antique shops. Fun little town. They have a history museum. Lake Eustis, they have a classic car, a museum of speed, I think it's called, and a replica of a 40s gas station. And Traveras is Seaplane City, is a little nickname. And Lake Dora has Splash Park, and Lake Panasoffkee has bike rides, airboat rides. A lot of the airboat rides are there.
Go there. Yep.
And Eustis is on Lake Eustis, and they have a historical museum in a downtown district. And all these are 20 to 30 miles from the villages. So it's a fun little day trip. Either go there for lunch, hang around, or go a little later, have dinner and come back. There's a lot of things to see around here.
And I'll put in the description also, we did do a video of like, I forget what it's titled, something about where to visit near and near the villages, or things to do in and near the villages. So I'll put places or something I'll put that little link in there for you too. So, but those are some great spots. If you
get tired of being in the bubble, and a lot of people do, they just need to get out.
Yeah, the beaches.
There are other people.
Yeah,
and so there's. I mean, Florida is a state that everybody comes to go to vacation to. So there's tons of stuff to do.
Lots to do. Laura Lampe on the same video asked, if someone's going to live in the villages full time, is it advisable not to own a black car? And if I moved to Central Florida in a couple years, would I be too toasty in the summer? So I happen to know that Laura's from Illinois because we talked about some kindred spirits things. So will you be toasty in the summer? You will. But I will tell you, I think it's so funny. I think Florida actually has this crazy kind of reputation that it's super hot and super humid. I'll be honest, I go up to the summer and visit in Illinois, and it's plenty humid up there too. So I don't know. Maybe it's a longer hot and humid season here, but it is toasty in the summer. To me, the advantages about being here in the summer is that you can go, like, at least there's a cool time, right? Like, if you're in the snow and the cold, it's snowy and coldy, cold, 24/7, coldy, cold, 24/7. But if you're here, even if it's hot during the day, many of us go out in the morning, go for a walk, whatever we do, sit on our lanai, whatever, in the mornings, and then you'll hide inside in the afternoon, and then in the evening, it's like perfect
Very
temperatures.
nice.
It's
Yeah,
really
it
nice.
was
So,
gorgeous last night.
yeah.
Well,
And what do you think about the black car thing? I mean, is it any worse?
We have some friends that just bought a black car. They don't say a word about it. I wouldn't buy one because you can see the dust. But
The pollen.
yeah.
Yeah.
But most people have their car in the garage anyway, and our car is hot when it sits in the sun. I mean, this is the Florida. The sun is hot, but if you get into the shade or out of the sun, it's not bad. And we've lived in Iowa, Missouri, and Arkansas. And I tell you what, Arkansas is freaking hot and humid. And I would look at the temperature every day while we were there. And we were by the lake, and say, "Mark, it's cooler in Florida than it is here." So
Interesting.
So we sold it. But buy whatever car color you want.
Yeah. You'll be in your golf cart anyway more. It's road rage on the golf course.
Somebody hit the button as they get in and out.
Yep.
KM, does your phone's you're going to have to answer this one because I don't use it.
So does your phone's GPS navigate you well when driving around in the golf carts? Okay, so the only time that I have done this is I had some family coming down and I wanted them to experience the villages like a villager. And they were staying at the waterfront at Lake Sumter, okay? And so I wanted to give them, and I rented them a golf cart for the week while they were here. That was their Christmas gift. So what I did was I drew them a map and everything, and then they used their GPS, though, to follow to our house. So there's a Villages app that you can use, and on there, there's a thing that says driving directions, and you put yes, and it says like residential, commercial, whatever, and then you say yes, and then you say, it says golf cart or car. And so then you can just put golf cart and it will take you down the pass instead of on the roads. So that's kind of cool. And a suggestion someone made, because somebody had asked on one of our videos, which I'm sure we'll answer that question whenever, but had asked about, like, if it says 8 minutes by car, how long should I expect by cart? Do I double it? And somebody said, actually, if you put in the bicycle, if you put it under, you can do your GPS from bike, walk, and they said if you put in bicycle, it'll give you a good time frame. So that was a good little suggestion she made. So,
and sometimes depending on the traffic, it might be the same, because
and there's
we go
cut-throughs.
under tunnels where there's a light that will, they're long. That light on Morse and 466 is a long light. And, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good question, but it does, I think it does pretty well with navigating.
All right. Our last one is from Doug Szymanski.
Szymanski.
Sorry, Doug. How many golf ranges are in the villages and cost per bucket or hourly? And do they offer a 1-year price subscription? Well, there are 4 of them currently, and I think there's going to be a new driving range down south. Palmer, Glenview, Lopez, and Sarasota. And so you can rent, or you can buy an e-card, which is what they tell you to buy because it's a better deal. Otherwise, it's $6 for a bucket of balls. You go inside and you get a token. Then you go outside, put the little thing, and put your token in. Don't forget to put the basket under there because my husband's actually done that before. And they go everywhere. And then it's $2.50 for a little starter before you golf basket. With the e-card, you can load it as many as you want, or 10 will be about $54, which is better than buying 10 buckets. We didn't put a lot of them on there just in case we lose it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we
because-
usually load it 10 at a time,
Yeah,
but they
that's what
did
we
say
do.
if you load like 20, then you get a little bit better discount and all that.
More, yeah.
We just don't, for us, we don't go there that often.
I don't. Mark does because I feel like I leave all the good shots on the
Yeah.
driving range, and then I'm tired. So.
But there are a couple, and I have no idea what the price points are, but there's a driving range behind the Walmart on 466. There's a driving range off 301 and, I'm sorry, not 301, Rolling Acres and 466. And that I think is run by like the Lions Club or it's a group that runs that and stuff. So
yeah, Mark just took our grandson over there, and he thought it was a pretty good deal. And they also have a punch ticket where it has so many punches, then you get one free. So I think it's a little more kid friendly than the Villages, but
yeah, and just something to know, you have to be dressed for golf if you're going to be on the range. So they still want you in golf attire if you're going to be on the range. So we have known of people that have been asked to leave
like my
because they're
husband,
not dressed appropriately.
Yeah, he had one of those Tiger Woods when Tiger first came out with the
High collar.
little collar for the Nike, and Mark had one of those, and she said, I can't sell you balls, and you can't go out there with that shirt on. And of course, Mark was like, Tiger wears one. Well, you're not Tiger. But anyway, she said, you can buy one or you can go get a collared shirt. So now he wears a collared shirt.
Yeah.
So,
And I think you also asked too about, do we offer yearly one price subscriptions? They don't, but you could do the card if you were trying to save some money on it.
There's a maximum on the card. I guess we did really
She made it sound like you could just keep
load it up.
adding, 10, 10, 10, and then the price kind of dropped, not significantly, but dropped a little bit every time you added. Like if you do 20, it was a little bit cheaper, 40, a little bit cheaper. Yeah. But anyway, I'm with you. I kind of would worry about if the card gets lost. I don't know how you'd replace it, but anyway.
Yep.
So if you enjoyed this video, we hope that you will watch a future one. And thanks for always liking and subscribing. Enjoy your day.